So Stuart, a relief at the weekend, first away win.
Yes, first away win of the season, and first away win for quite a while for the club as well. But no, as I said before, it was a game that we needed to get 5 points from, just to try and alleviate a bit of pressure from that bottom three, and we managed to do that. So no, it was good.
You scored 40 points. You weren't totally happy with the performance, which in a way is a good sign. If you're playing badly and scoring 40 points, then there's a lot more left in the tank.
Yeah, a lot of it's down to rustiness. We've had 4 or 5 weeks off since that GHA game, with obviously Christmas, New Year, and then the weather. So we can put a lot of it down to that. But we looked at the performance at half time. We were 7-0 up after sort of 5-6 minutes. We should have been out of sight by half time. It should have been 28-35-0. But we scored eventually, and then let them in with 2 soft tries, so it was 14-0 at half time. But we regrouped at half time and came back out, and as you say, scoring 42 points up there. And the main thing was just to get 5 points.
Yeah, that's what you really needed, and that's what you got, and that takes you into a much more comfortable position.
Yeah, we're in a really good position. A lot of teams below us play each other, so there's only one team that can win out of that, or a draw. So yeah, we're in a decent position, but this weekend's pretty big.
And it's a revenge mission because Peebles beat you at the Gates.
Yes, aye. Yeah, we got beat at the Gates, obviously in a pretty high scoring game as well, to be fair. Again, we had a few boys missing up there, injuries, so we're pretty strong again this week. But yeah, look, it's all about us. If we can fix some of the issues from the weekend there, just in terms of our finishing, individual tackles, and we're back at home. Obviously a big farmers' lunch as well, so the club rooms is full for that as well. So it's a big game for the club. It's a big game for us in terms of league position, but it's a must win if we want to just put ourselves at ease for the rest of the season.
Because it is your last home game.
And it's also our last home game, yeah. So we've got Peebles at home, Glasgow Accies away, and then the 2 rearranged games with Boroughmuir and Stirling both away. So it's not an easy few games after that, but I think if you ask any of the teams in that, sort of from really Gala down, because Gala are only 2 points above us as well, but nobody's got an easy run in.
So Graeme, how do you approach a game like this one?
Quite simply, we go out there to win. It's not about being insular and try to play within yourselves. We just need to go out and try and win that game, and as you do every game, we have some insight into Jed, obviously through videos and having played them earlier on in the season. We have some obviously evidence of what we are doing well, what we're not doing well, and then we put that into the game plan, and hopefully it comes to fruition come 4:30 on Saturday.
You've played some really good rugby against some of the top teams, particularly GHA, home and away, and come out with it with not many points at all, which must be pretty frustrating.
Absolutely, Stuart. I mean, and that's it. You know, we spoke to the GHA coach, Callum, and some of their players after the game, and you know, it's great to hear things like, oh, that's the toughest 2 games we've had all season. But it doesn't mean anything if you're not winning them. You know, for us, you know, for our point of view, we want to be winning these games, and you know, we were in a position to win that game, and we let it slip. Also, they were a very good side, and they came back very strongly in that sort of third quarter of the game, and emptied their bench, and they made a big impact and got them over the line. I kind of say to players, you know, put the performance in, you'll get the result that you deserve. That usually rings true. Sometimes it doesn't, but I think in such a competitive league as to what we're in, you know, you can be slightly off in certain areas just for a short amount of time in a game, and it totally reverses that fixture. You know, the Highland game, you know, that we played at home, you know, there we were in control of that game, slightly off for the last 5-10 minutes, and we lose the game. You know, and the same at Dundee as well, you know, winning in a winning position, slightly off for a 5-minute period, and we allow a team to come back into it, and that may come back to haunt us at the end of the season. Hopefully not. We've still got enough time, I think, you know, to claw ourselves back into a good position.
I was going to ask you about that because obviously as weeks go by, the pressure kind of mounts, and everyone looks at the table, sees you in the relegation zone. But of course you do have Dundee at home, which is a big one. This fixture this weekend against Jed-Forest, a team you've already beaten, is obviously going to be a big one. But there are some other big games after that. But you know, from a running perspective, you'll be fairly confident.
Yes. I mean, I think what I've said to the guys immediately after the game on Saturday and at training last night as well is, if you put that performance in for those last 5 games, you will win those 5 games. I am completely confident of that. Now, that might depend on other results. It might come down to a big shootout up in Inverness against Highland in the last game of the season. So and you know what, we would take that. If we got to that position where we were in control of our own destiny and knowing what we had to do, not thinking about anybody else, then that's probably not a bad position to be in.
Of the 5 games, though, 4 of them are away from home, which is never easy.
Absolutely not, and you can see that throughout the results. In the league, teams are very strong at home, and looking ahead to this Saturday, Jed are very strong at home. They pride themselves in how they play, down at Riverside, and that's something that we've got to take into a huge amount of consideration into how we approach the game. Certainly early part of the game, we know that home teams come out firing and try to make their stamp on that game, so it's about kind of dampening the flames and just kind of firefighting for that first 20 minutes maybe, and just getting ourselves a foothold in the game and then coming through towards the end. So yeah, home games are obviously easier, always are, or well, not always are, but usually are away games, but we've got to go there with no fear. We've just got to go out there and play to our best of our ability and give it our best shot.
Peebles then, they of course need the points, there's no doubt about that. They're currently sitting in the relegation zone. Putting a boarder's hat on, a high scoring draw would be ideal, wouldn't it? 3 points each.
No, no, I'm after
5-2 then.
I'm after a win. If a bonus point comes, brilliant, but no, we need to win. And if you look at Peebles, they're very good defensively. They've had 7 losing bonus points, which says it all in the league. So if they're in a game, they're in it. They don't really get beat comfortably, so we know we're going to have to be on it. If we can improve our accuracy in attack from the weekend and just some decision making, look, we always score points majority of the time. And I say it was just more some individual tackles which we can fix quite easily from a defensive point of view. So that's just a big focus for this week. But as I say, we're going to have to be on it for sort of 70-80 minutes on Saturday, because I said Peebles are always in a game. And they've proved that again against GHA at the weekend there. They were up at half time and only got beat by 9 points. But again, we played GHA before Christmas and we were exactly the same. We were up after 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and we were up with 5 minutes to go. And unfortunately, it was an officiating decision that's probably cost us that game. If you just look at the rest of the league, even Stirling, for instance, everyone would have said at the start of the season Stirling would probably walk that league, been coming out of Super 6, keeping all their squad, but they haven't, unfortunately for them. But I think our biggest problem is just inconsistency. So we unfortunately had 3 or 4 call-offs against GHA in the morning with norovirus. I think if we'd been full strength, we probably would have won that game. I say it was really an officiating decision at the end that cost us. We been 2 points up with 5 minutes to go. But our biggest problem has just been inconsistency. Like we run GHA close, we beat Glasgow Accies, but then we're getting beat off teams round about us. So, but look, it's pleasing that we can compete with the top of the league. But I say it's just about this weekend only at the moment.
And what about the team news for Jed?
Yeah, a couple of kind of changes that will be coming up. So William Napier's his Navy duties, he can't get up this weekend, so he'll be replaced by his brother John on the bench. Archie Winnington Ingram comes back in as well, and James Hodgkiss as well, having been unavailable last week, so they're both back into the squad as well for Saturday. But I mean, there's not going to be many changes because actually the performance last Saturday, these guys deserve every chance to go again, and that's what it'll be pretty much. Buster Davison got a concussion, so he's out for 3 weeks unfortunately, so he's replaced by Frey McKeever on the wing. So it's great to see him back as well, getting his first start for well over a year after an ACL injury. Got back on the pitch last week, and he's got his start for this week. And Rio Batia as well gets a chance to come onto the bench as well. So all young, good Peebles players, coming through, and that's what we'll keep producing, hopefully.